Welcome to the SyFy Sistas Live Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the SyFy Sistas live show on a Tuesday night. I'm Sister Tamia. I'm joined by my sisters, Yvette Blackman Tom.
Hello.
Sabrina Wood.
Whoop, whoop.
And Fran T.
Of course. What's happening, y'all?
What's happening, everybody? What's happening is dun, 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 another epic SyFy Sistas top 10 list. Yay! This time we are doing our top 10 Voyager episodes. But before we get to that, I just want to remind everybody that in a mere 10 days, 10 days, Trek Long Island is happening. And Trek Long Island, as you all know who have been with us, is our official 2025 convention partner. So May 30th to June 1st, it's happening. Get your tickets. There's still tickets available. We hope to see everybody there. The photo ops are up. The group photos are up. There's going to be on Saturday night. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be the Starship Fabulous Dance Party. Fabulous. That's going to be happening, and that evening is going to kick off with a really fun game show hosted by our friend John Billingsley called
Whose birthday is today?
Oh, happy birthday, JB.
Happy birthday.
And the game show is called So You Think You Know Flux? Like, what? So it'll be awesome. So we hope that everybody will join us. I hope you saw the show with Stephanie Gangone last week. And if you haven't, after you're done with this show, go check that one out and see all the reasons why you should come join us in Long Island. Okay, folks.
Yep.
All right. Well, all right. Everybody has been anxiously awaiting. It's been a long time since we've done a top 10 list. Sisters, this was a different process this time than we normally do. Normally we're all together, like we all submit our own individual top 10s, and then we all get on and we have this long ass Zoom meeting, long as shit. We're all just like, no, but this one should be a no. This one, and this is why this should take this place. Okay, I guess you're right. I'll mark this one down. We didn't do it that way. This time we were not together. We had to compile it. Sabrina and I did the final compilations and tallies. There was a pseudoscientific method of tallying these votes. We started off the easy way. The episodes
that looked like she had pins in her head after she was done.
I was up there like with the accountant. I was like, I'm mathing, Sabrina. I am mathing.
She was mathing like a pro, man. My girl was doing it. So if we counted out the episodes that all four of us voted for first, okay? Mm-hmm. And then what we did was we added up the positions that they came in on each person's list. Right. So like if you had it in number 7 and then Sabrina had it at number 1 and I had it at number 5 and Fran had it at 10, we added that up and divided it by 4. That was the score. The one with the lowest score was the highest ranking one. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but because that meant that it is mathematically correct. It meant that it ranked higher on the list, on everybody's list. So we did that for each group. We started off with the 4s, all 4 of us. Then the episodes that had 3 votes, and then the episodes that had 2 votes. The episodes that only had 1 vote obviously did not make the list. So that's how we came, and we ended up with a tie too. So you guys would be surprised. And I think, in number 10, are we ready to go ahead with that, Yvette?
What are we doing?
We have, can I go ahead and segue into number 10?
Please do.
All right. I just want to make sure we're good. We have some really surprise special guests here to help us announce number 10. We have Garrett Wrong of Delta Flyers.
Just beamed in. I just beamed in.
Robbie,
Welcome.
thank you. You know what we should do? We should imitate what Celia Rose Gooding and Melissa Navia did in the beginning. You could be Melissa Navia, and I'll be Celia going, woo, 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 SyFy. And shake my shoulders. Like that.
I love those guys. I
Those
got to meet
those
them
guys
on the
are great.
cruise
They're the
because
best.
when I went on the Star Trek cruise this year and met all you guys for the first time, which was awesome, I had to leave the cruise halfway in the middle of it, and so did Melissa and anyway, so
Celia.
yeah, and Celia. So I got to travel with those guys, and I got to meet them for the first time. And it's funny because with Melissa, I had a little Twitter thing way back in the day when there was like, who's the best pilot, and somebody voted Tom Paris. Like, I guess whatever the thing was voted Tom Paris, and Melissa responded. She goes, "Who's Tom Paris?
Yeah, who's that?
Oh, what did he do?"
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh
Shots
yeah,
fired.
it's on. Let's
Shots
go.
fired.
Let's go."
Totally on.
Yeah.
Wow. On.
Yeah.
So we had a whole Twitter
my
thing.
Robbie, were you taking off your earrings at that point?
I was
Yeah.
taking them off. I was moving
Somebody
around.
handing the Vaseline. Give me the Vaseline.
right?
But then I got to sit and travel with those guys, and I loved them both. Celia was awesome.
Yeah.
Melissa was great. We got along so well. I really love those guys. So I just got to say that little Twitter thing from years back was just it was for
That's
fun.
the best. I love
Yeah.
that. That's what I love about this franchise. You guys, once you guys get to meet each other, or it's always so much fun. And I
Yeah.
find that with the younger population, because you guys were pretty young when you were on.
Oh, yeah.
So
Garrett, what
when-
were you, Garrett? 27?
really,
One of the
26?
top 10 sexiest
I was
men
25.
going. Hey.
25 when we started. I was-
He was the sexiest man under 30.
That's
Right,
right.
right. I got that episode.
think
I
we
got
don't
that.
remember
I
that?
got that magazine. I still got it.
Right?
Okay,
It's the
everyone
most
says sexy, but it was People Magazine's 50 most beautiful people.
beautiful people.
Everyone says,
And that
"Weren't
was
you in
that was
sexiest
his
people?"
soul.
Yeah.
That was inside. He was
beautiful.
beautiful in the inside.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Robbie.
Robbie's just slinging them tonight, aren't you, buddy?
They're all over the place right now.
Oh my
Mhm.
goodness.
Aren't we here to announce the 10th?
Yeah, we are.
most- Okay, all right.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
So at number 10, the
Mhm.
10th best episode as quantified by the SyFy Sistas, woo, 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 is The Shoot.
Nope, that's wrong.
No, it's not.
Yes, no, you're right, Garrett.
Oh,
You're
Garrett's right.
I
Graphic
was wrong.
The
Sorry.
graphic was wrong.
The
The
guy-
Shoot. Let me just say it
There
again.
it is.
Woo, woo,
Yes.
woo, The Shoot.
It wasn't
Ah,
supposed to look like that.
yay.
Yes.
Live TV.
Look at how young we were.
Man.
Those, you know what? Honestly, those look like AI versions of us right now. I feel like it's been
I
touched up
cleaned them up
by
a little. I
AI.
cleaned
The
them up a little.
toys.
We've been cleaned up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Oh,
shoot's
yeah.
good. The shoot's a good one.
The shoot is a good one.
It
Oh,
is.
man.
I was scared for you, Garrett. I was scared for you. I was
Right?
like,
He had to stand up and be the hero.
I
Oof.
did. This episode, the behind the scenes story of this episode is that because of all the dirt that was on the set and the smoke that they pumped in, that
Yeah.
oil-based toxic smoke that we
Mm.
actors had to endure, 85-90% of the cast and crew got bronchitis.
Oh
Because of
yeah,
it.
everybody
Oh,
got
wow.
Sick,
dirty
yeah, it was
and nasty.
horrible. Nasty working
Wow.
conditions. Yeah.
Wow.
I just really want to give a quick recap for the people who might not have seen the shoot or
Sure,
might not
sure.
have seen it in a while. This was season 3, episode 3, y'all. Harry Kim and Tom Paris are found guilty and detained in a prison where a neural implant gradually drives the inmates mad. The teleplay was by Kenneth Biller. The story by Clavon C. Harris. That's a brother's name, isn't it?
Mm.
Gotta be.
Right? It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Clavon.
Clavon.
Come on.
Clavon.
Right?
You know
And
what? If I ever have a son, I'm going to name him Clavon
You
Wong.
better.
That's
You
his
better.
name
Not
right there.
Clavon Wong.
Clavon.
Clavon Wong.
That's
He's in
it.
the house. Okay.
I'm sure there's a Clavon Wong out there.
I love it. I just and it was directed by
Although
Les
please.
Landau.
Okay.
Yes, it
Right.
was. We love Les.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
your
Yeah.
mentor, right? One of your mentors.
Yeah,
But
he's a good
it's a
man.
pivotal episode because this is the one time where Harry doesn't have his big brother with him, right? So
Mhm.
the guy that's been sort of his mentor and helping him out and guiding him along is now injured, and it's a life-threatening. It's a very bad injury. He's been stabbed in the gut. So it's a huge episode for Harry to sort of step up and be the hero. The funniest part was the very end with you remember that little metal pipe I had? I was waving everybody off. This is before Tuvok and Janeway slide in to save the day.
To
Right
get
before
you,
that.
you still
Right before.
Yeah, right before I'm waving them. I'm get back. Don't touch Tommy boy, my little Tommy boy. And I'm waving them away.
That's right.
And Robbie, I remember he was lying on the ground, and these inmates are getting closer and closer, and I stepped backwards, and I actually stepped on Robbie by mistake during this one take. And then I hear him go, oh, and I hear him say, I hate not being the hero. Like that.
I got something else for you guys. So wait, you said Clavon C. Harris was one of the writers, correct?
Yes.
Yes, the story,
You want to see what Clavon C. Harris is?
It's a woman?
Oh,
Wow.
Yes, it
Clavon,
is.
Now that
Okay.
so I got it right, half right.
You got it
That's
right.
what-
Yes.
I got it half right.
You got it
You
right.
got half right.
Mhm.
How perfect is that?
A writer
Love
of color, but a
that.
female writer.
Yeah.
of
I
color.
don't
Wow,
think we
I-
ever met her. Did we?
Robbie,
I
she's
never
not.
knew that.
She's
Yeah.
listed on the writing staff.
Yes, she is. Star Trek
Great for
Voyager.
her.
She also wrote
What-
on Farscape, Living Single.
Why did we not meet her, Robbie?
I don't know. She was
understand.
probably a freelance writer,
Yeah.
but
Because that was all the
This is
shows
fun.
at that same
Right.
time. Yeah. The
yeah,
big
she wrote on
shows at that
Soul
time.
Food,
Wow.
Farscape, For Your
Wow.
Love, Living Single, and Star Trek Voyager. That's what I got for her credits.
God dang.
Clavon.
I think
Come
the
on.
SyFy sisters need to bring
Yeah.
Miss
We're gonna
Clavon
have-
into the
we-
show.
Don't worry.
Okay?
Right?
My next,
Yes.
that's my next step. I
And-
gotta find Clavon.
We got-
Sorry, invite
Miss
us too, so
Clavon,
we
if
can
you
meet her
please.
too, please.
You're right,
Yes,
Nick.
we'll bring you.
Nick said,
Bring
Miss
Clavon.
Clavon, if you please. Yes,
Mhm.
you are right. I
Miss
said that
Clavon.
puts a whole new spin on where the syllable, the syllabic emphasis is coming on the name and everything. Yes, we got to find her.
Yeah, we
felt
do.
that vibe. We
I
felt
love
that
that. I love that because I did not remember ever meeting her. And when you mentioned her name, yeah, I was
Mhm.
curious who
So
that was.
the emphasis on the final syllable would be
Clavon?
Clavon then, right?
Right,
Clavon.
Is it-
That's
it-
probably-
Yeah, it's probably
Clavon would be a
Clavon.
man.
Mhm.
Clavon
It's probably
would be a woman
Clavon.
then.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
her
who
father's
knows?
name is Clay and her mother's name is
Who's
Vanessa.
yeah.
Vanessa,
Yvonne.
that's right.
Her mother's name is
Vonda.
probably Yvonne.
My mother's
Yvonne.
Yvonne. My mother's
Mother's
Clay.
Baby.
Jamal,
Her
leave me
father's
alone.
Clayton.
I love that though. I love it.
Yeah.
You know I'm gonna have to go back and watch my Farscape again
Right.
now, Jamal.
Oh,
You're
yeah. Go back to
absolutely
Farscape.
right.
Yes.
I
Oh,
love.
no,
I
sure.
loved Farscape. Farscape was my
Farscape is
jam.
wonderful.
Oh my god, it was
Farscape's
so
awesome.
far ahead of its time, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it was actually being filmed when we were filming Voyager, and I remember seeing
Yeah.
promos for it, and I initially thought no, because I saw Rigel, and I thought I'm not going to watch a Jim Henson Muppet
Right.
series. I'm not, so I didn't watch it. But then when I was in Germany moderating FedCon, the big German convention,
Mhm.
they had Farscape actors come
Yep.
in. So I said I need to prep for this because I'm the MC of the whole
Right.
thing. So I said I'll watch one episode. That's all I'm going to watch. I
Huh.
watched the pilot episode, and I go,
Right?
I binge watched the entire series in like 8 days. Like I didn't even sleep. I just kept watching. It was amazing.
It's so
Oh,
good.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
if
such
you
a-
haven't seen Farscape, you need to check it out. It's
Mhm.
pretty amazing.
Highly
Pretty-
recommend.
I haven't
Now
watched
we
it in a
got
long
this
time.
extra thing in there with Clavon.
That's right.
Miss Clavon.
Clavon.
So, Clavon-
Robbie,
so-
sorry, I was going to say. Did
no,
you want,
go ahead,
Rob-
Garrett.
Yeah. I was going to say, Robbie, do you want to talk about the show coming up?
Please.
Resident Alien.
Yeah.
Oh, Resident Alien.
Premiere,
Yeah.
yeah.
Please.
Well,
Yeah.
I think last time I was here, Fran, are you the Resident Alien fan?
Yes, I am. Yes,
I thought you
am.
were.
Yes. Yes.
Well, yeah. So we're actually today we just started the final mix of the first episode. So meaning it's all finally the first episode is coming together starting today. That'll happen for
Alrighty.
3 straight days. Yeah. So we'll finish up later this week on episode 1, and
Okay.
we have a premiere date. It's now on USA Network, and it is June 6th
Woohoo!
is the premiere.
okay.
So
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Ooh.
we got
Good stuff.
10
Yeah.
episodes starting very, very soon. Yeah, it's fast.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll talk to you some more. I'll talk to you some more about that. Maybe we can get some stuff out.
Yeah,
I'd like to promote it for you as much as we can.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Awesome.
We love Resident Alien. So
Resident
Well,
Alien
and
is
I have-
so fun and is so modern and timely and a different spin on a sci-fi concept.
it's hilarious.
The characters are amazing. Our actors are all unique and one of a kind and different than a lot of shows you see on TV. It's a quirky mix. So
It is.
June 6th is the premiere. They're gonna rerun episodes. I think they may be starting now on SyFy and USA, some of the old seasons.
Okay.
And it's also on Netflix, the first 3 seasons. So
That's what I was going to ask because I saw it like on all of these places. I was like, okay, so
It's
where do
everywhere.
we actually watch it?
wherever you want.
Wherever you want, right? It's on a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, I got to catch up on that now.
Yeah. Check it out. Yeah. it's a
You'll
fun
like
show.
So much fun.
We got a lot of Resident Alien fans in the chat.
Yeah.
Good.
Loving it. Loving it.
Yeah. It's a
So I'm
different
glad
kind of show. For
You want to
sure.
talk about Delta Flyers?
Yeah.
Sure.
Tell
Yeah.
us.
Delta Flyers is a podcast. Garrett and I do with now we do it with oh yeah, you're wearing the hat.
I'm wearing the
Represent-
hat.
Amazing.
Although
Yeah,
my
everybody's got it.
brick walls getting in the way sometimes. So okay.
PS 112.
Yeah. Who wants to play kickball? Okay.
I've seen some of our Delta Flyers patrons and some of the Delta Flyers community in the chat on this podcast.
On this
right?
chat, yes.
On this
Yeah.
chat,
You're
yeah.
watching now.
Great to
We
see.
have a lot of cross pollination.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
Cross I just made up a new word too.
good.
You-
They got good taste. They know.
Kelly wants some poems for this show.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So Robbie will do a limerick for this show at some point and about this show. And
I'll do it right now. Here we go.
Oh,
SyFy sisters are so fly. I'm glad that I'm not here and not going to die, because if I don't do this show, then I'm going to have to go somewhere else and do some chores for my wife.
Very good.
That's what you
Robbie.
get. That's what you
Can
get.
we
when
get
it's
a beat to that? I don't know.
happening right now.
We were trying, but we lost it.
I know. I lost it too.
It started off very well.
Thank you.
We actually got
tried.
the sisters correct.
I got sisters. After that, it's just
okay. Here's
That's
my
why I need
haiku. Here's
time
my
to, like,
Okay.
Okay.
to,
Go
like,
ahead.
prepare.
Go ahead.
You
Let's
went
hear this
into the
haiku.
event horizon on us.
Yes, he did. Here's my haiku.
Go
5
ahead.
syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables.
Okay.
SyFy sisters. Hey. They got it all and then some.
Mhm.
Okay.
We love them
So much.
Yeah. We love them so much. Thank you. There you go. Or ladies. We love them ladies.
You
But
love
I
them
said
ladies.
ladies.
I like
love
that
it.
better. I like that. You love them
Like
ladies.
that? Yeah, we love them
5
ladies.
syllables,
We
7
like the
syllables,
shit.
5 syllables. Yeah.
Love it. Right on,
We
right
did
on
it.
track. That's good
We
stuff.
did it.
We started doing poems because
Yeah.
we were doing quick recaps before we went into the whole show. And the
Yeah.
recaps were starting to be 10, 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
And we were like, all right,
Yeah.
let's just do a quick recap and then we'll get into
Yeah,
So
because
the
I
poems.
said let's do a synopsis, and Robbie his synopsis would just meander, and then we said, okay, no more. We're gonna go limerick for you because you're Caucasian, and I'll haiku because I'm Asian, and that's how we did it. And people loved it so much,
It was a
it
limerick
became a
and then
book
a
of poetry at the end. We
Oh,
published
that's so
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, we made
All
a
the
book.
Voyager, yes.
And it's funny because when you've got to squeeze a whole episode into a limerick or a haiku,
Mm.
you capture something in that poetry, even though it's bad poetry, at least for me. You capture something though about it that you're like, it's fun. So when people look through the book, when I look through the books now, I remember, I'm like, oh yeah, that was the quality. Like it doesn't take much to trigger a memory, and the poems are kind of fun. So
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And I tell you,
I
you
love it.
watching the shows for this, you have to have a long synopsis because sometimes, there's
Yeah.
so much stuff going on in
So
the
much.
episode. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, is that the one where what happened? And then something
Right.
else happened, and then the other guy came,
Yeah.
and then what? And then this didn't work. You're like,
That's-
what is going on? So, like I said,
Yeah.
I've been afraid for you both many times.
I think when we started, Garrett, didn't we put a timer on? We were like, well, we don't want people to get bored, so we got to do this whole show in like 45 minutes. And we had a timer and everything.
Yeah.
And now we're just like, let's try not to go more than 3 or 4 hours on this. We just go and go and go.
It's funny because the editing is done by our significant others, right? So Robbie's partner and my partner, they do the editing. And it's so funny because Megan will say like, yeah, so the initial raw footage was what she'll say, it was like 342 minutes, but I cut it down to like 150. Like that. It's like, wow, like that. Yeah. Because a lot of it is Robbie, myself, and Terry and Armin just going on tangents. Like, oh my God, do you remember when? And then when the editors get into it, they start listening to it like, what are you guys talking about? What are you doing? You're so off track. This has nothing to do with Star Trek. I'm like, what are you? Yeah.
So whenever we do like we have a lot of guests on the podcast. This we always have guests, but on the podcast we have guests. But when we do the ones that are just us, they
go on, right?
The tangent could just be
tangents.
like,
The tangent is the whole thing.
But then you get somebody, then you do something really simple, and then everybody starts laughing.
Yes.
And then that's the end. You're like, okay, what the hell were we talking about before?
Right. You lose track. You lose track.
Oh, definitely.
Robbie, I have a question for you. Other than John Billingsley having a birthday today, who else has a birthday today?
Who else does? I don't know who.
Catherine Janeway.
Yes.
It's Janeway's birthday.
It is Admiral Janeway's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
And it fits perfectly because that means she's a Taurus, and Taurus is the most stubborn of all the zodiac animals.
Right,
And that is exactly Janeway.
I gave birth to one.
That fits.
First.
I want to thank Kelly Lady for sending the message this morning in our group chat that let me know that it was Catherine Janeway's birthday. Thanks, Kelly.
Oh, Kelly. 2336. Thank you.
2336.
Wait, I got a question about the Long Island Star Trek Long Island.
Yeah.
I just looked up who's going to be there. Terry Farrell from our podcast, DS9, of course. We love Terry.
Yep.
You've got birthday boy John Billingsley is there with his wife, Benita Frederici, who was on Chuck with me.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, 5 years of Chuck. She was the general. Yeah.
Wow.
Andy Robinson is going to be there.
Of course.
Good old Garrett. Who doesn't love Garrett?
Man.
I heard you guys are doing DS9 now, right?
We're doing DS9 on the podcast with Armin and Terry. Yeah.
So we are Niners.
Yeah, I love DS9, and we just started season 4.
Oh
my!
It just is so much better from here.
It's a whole new level.
I'm so excited for you.
Yes, it is.
Today was very emotional because earlier we recorded our podcast recapping and discussing The Visitor. And in my estimation, that is the biggest tear-jerking episode of Trek in all of Star Trek. There's nothing else. Even the new all the way from original series to Strange New Worlds. There's not a single episode that you will cry your eyes out the entire time. It's just
on television, not even Trek. It is an episode. It is it is one of the best episodes of TV that I've seen
ever.
Because you don't have to know anything about Trek. Honestly, to really love that show.
You don't even have to know anything about Cisco. I mean, who they are. You know, none of that.
No,
because you'll find it out in that episode.
No.
Oh yeah.
And it's really touching now that we lost Tony. We just lost him.
We lost losing him this past year.
That was tough to hear.
That was not a good one.
Yeah, so like I remember the first time I watched it after he had passed. I mean, and I always cried during The Visitor, but I was crying from the beginning.
Extra.
Yeah, you know, like I mean, so yeah, you guys are
Did you ever meet Tony? Did you ever get to meet him?
I never got the pleasure.
So we were trying. I think
what a gentle giant.
We were actually working
we were talking to him, going back and forth. We couldn't get dates.
And then we got
I have text messages from Tony Todd. I do have them. So yeah, he was so nice, and he was really busy. He was working a lot of things.
Yeah, busy.
He followed us. He followed us on our socials. We talked all the time on socials. Like he was just like, "Oh, who are the SyFy sisters?" We're like, "We love you," because we're just liking everything he does and talking with him about like when he would DJ jazz sets and stuff. I used to, typing. I'm like, oh my god, because he was throwing down,
Yeah.
He's a multi-talented.
He's
he
a
was
real
multi-talented
renaissance
person.
man.
He
for
really
sure.
was. Yeah.
He
But
was
also
on
down
Chuck
to
as
earth,
well.
too.
He was.
Yeah.
He did Chuck with Billingsley's wife Bonnie.
Did he? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
he
I remember him
played
on
it.
that. Yeah.
Another military character, recurring character, and he did
Wow.
Voyager. So
Yeah.
we got to work with him there as well.
Yeah.
Lovely
Ugh.
human being.
I'm bummed to hear that he never made it onto the show with you guys.
Yeah.
You
It
would
It
have
never. It just never
Thanks for
worked
saying
out.
that, Garrett.
Yeah. That would have been it.
Thanks.
Sorry.
Thanks
I'm
for
just-
rubbing it
No,
in.
no, I meant that in a really nice
Oh,
way.
you
Like,
meant it in
no,
a
I didn't-
sincere way.
Yeah, I did.
Robbie
Like,
and
I wasn't
Yvette were
trying-
all laughing at it like,
Okay, no. So first of all, fellow Gen
Yvette.
Xers, screw that. Don't listen to Yvette. Like,
all right, I'm gonna.
I will get you in trouble. Don't listen to me.
Okay.
no, because like I was really sincere. Like, thank you
was?
for
Oh,
wishing
good.
that for us. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that. Oh God, you guys would have. You would have been.
you would
in
have loved
heaven
him.
after you guys signed off. You would have been riding that cloud for probably the entire month. 'Cause that's how generous of spirit he was, and
Yeah.
of his time. And like I said, he's so down to earth, and he didn't have
Yeah.
to be that kind of person, right? I mean, if you met him on the street, you'd never even know he was an actor if you didn't know all the stuff he did,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, very
You're
down
on
to
a
earth.
rock. He's that open and that friendly to whoever,
Yeah.
and that's
Wow.
a rare quality to find in human beings.
I
when they're just
agree.
open-minded and friendly to everyone that walks up. They don't care
Wow.
what you look like, what gender, what race you are, or what age. That's the
No,
other.
he was a good man.
How many times to talk to someone 5 years old, 85 years old, doesn't matter, right? So
Yeah.
that's what was so amazing about it.
Wow.
Ah, such a
Yeah.
great.
Todd.
Good guy.
That's-
Tony
I'm so
Todd.
glad you
that
guys
that
could
guy,
give
it hit
that.
us. That hit us hard when we found out about that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you guys could give that like testimonial about
perspective,
that.
yeah.
That means a lot to us,
Mhm.
because part of what we do here is trying to give a shine. Now Tony Todd got shine, right? But trying to give a shine to a lot of the Black creatives who don't get the shine as
Yeah.
often, don't get
Yeah.
invited to the cons, so it just means a lot to hear you guys say that.
Yeah, of course.
You know who else I saw was coming to Trek Long Island is Phil Morris, who was on Voyager with us.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Love him.
He was on
Love
T-
him. He was.
Forget, he was on TOS too.
He
That's
was.
what-
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh,
as-
right.
as a
Right.
kid,
He was
one of
as
the
a little
kids in
kid.
Mary.
Yeah.
Little kid.
That's
Yeah.
right. We talked about that on the
Yep.
podcast.
And
I
then he
forgot.
was in one of the, I think one of the movies 3 as a
That
cadet.
makes sense. Yeah.
Oh,
He was
yep.
a cadet. He grew up on Star Trek.
Wait,
Yeah, he-
which one?
yeah.
Which?
I
which
think
Star Trek
I
movie?
think Search for Spock, right?
he
Is
was a
that 3?
cadet in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Wow.
played a
Cadet.
cadet.
I don't
I'm
remember
saying
that.
Yeah. I'm
No,
pretty
I
sure.
do. I do.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes.
Sabrina's
yes.
like, I do remember.
I
That.
do.
Search
I
for.
think he was
He was
a
in
Gemini, too. He was a
1984. The
Gemini.
Search for Spock.
Okay.
Star Trek 3.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Search
he
for
was.
Spock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was a
Played
Gem Hadar too.
Ramada-
Yeah.
He was a Ramadacon.
Ramadacon, yep.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Oh,
got Trek
wait,
all over the
shush.
place.
I don't think they got
Wait,
there
don't-
yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Don't,
You're not there
don't
yet.
spoil
Yeah.
it.
Don't spoil it
Right.
for
I
us.
didn't say
We don't
anything.
know.
I just said the man's name.
We don't know anything about no Decepticon, Ramadacon, whatever you just said. We don't know.
Once you see that episode, you'll remember who he
Okay,
is.
we-
You remember
we're
that
like,
name forever.
Hashtag Ramadacon.
Ramadacon. When you hear that, you're gonna be like,
no.
oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
Now I know what the sisters are talking about.
All right.
Yeah, because he played the
Yeah.
hell out of that Gem Hadar too.
He
Okay.
did.
Well,
That's
Mhm.
a yeah.
I'll have to say that both myself and Robbie have been very pleased with watching DS9. I mean, these episodes have been
Oh, especially
very-
lately, getting
Late-
into
oh,
and
God.
wrapping up season 3, getting into
Woo!
season 4. It's like a
Oh.
new show.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the hair's gone from Cisco. He's
Yes.
business bald is what he is, right?
Yes.
He's like,
He is the man. He is the man.
yeah,
Bald
man.
and Van Dyke.
Yeah.
Captain Hawk.
Yes.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
came back like when we saw him. You see him come back on that screen in that new season, and the hair is gone, and you're like, "Oh shit,
That's
it's
bad
on
business
now."
now. That's right.
Mhm. It's on now. But I
Mhm.
gotta say, like, one of the things that's been a joy about doing this top 10 again was affording me a chance to rewatch Voyager. And, you know, I watched Voyager in the original run as well. And, I loved it. And, you know, of course I was going to watch it. There was a woman captain, you know, I mean, DS9 was still my jam, but I was rocking with Voyager too, you know,
Nice.
but I wasn't rewatching Voyager like I was rewatching DS9. DS9 was very much like a comfort food for me, you
Makes
know,
sense.
it's my
Yeah.
comfort Trek. It's on all the time. Going through this process, I love how many times I go, damn, that was a good episode. Damn, that was a good episode. Damn, that was a good episode. You know, not like I didn't think you did good episodes. I was watching it the whole time, but I forgot how good so many of these episodes were. You guys were doing the thing over there.
Oh, thanks.
There were a lot
Thanks,
of
Tamia.
our list had one sister had an episode that no other sister had, so we couldn't. They're honorable mentions, and we may get to that. I don't know, but it was just so many where somebody was like, "I love this one," you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody had
What
that
was
special
what
one.
was the one that no one else had? I'm just
Well,
curious.
I had, you go
Yeah.
ahead, Sabrina.
Go ahead.
One of the ones, well, the one that I had that nobody else had on their list was in season 2, Resistance with Joel Grey.
Yeah.
Great.
Because
yeah,
like
that was
it was
crazy.
just such a beautiful character study, such a beautiful portrait. It was heartbreaking, you know. It was just it was so intimate. It was I mean, it just gave me all the feels. It wasn't one of these big action ones, you know. It was just a really heartbreaking, tragic, beautiful story.
Yeah.
And him and Kate together was just a feast.
Well, they were good. They had a good close relationship off
Yeah.
camera. They had some history, and you
Oh.
could feel that in the performance. And I remember when we were shooting that episode, Kate, she was so excited to see him and to get to work with him again. And I think Rick Colby directed that episode. He was our pilot director.
Yeah.
It was beautifully shot. Rick shot some of the most beautiful cinematic episodes of Voyager, I think, in our whole run. He did some of his best work of his career in our show. So yeah, Resistance was a good episode, really good.
Yeah.
But I find that to be, you know, a common thing with fans. There's always one episode that every fan digs, and everyone else is like, "Really? Wait, that's the one you like a lot?" And it's just because there are not the big blockbuster 2-parter episodes, but there are these quiet bottle shows, very quick, you know, just that come out of nowhere that end up resonating with random, you know, fans. Like, to me, on that one.
We only had 10 spots, so it was hard.
Yeah, I think mine was what scientific.
Scientific
method.
Scientific
Is that the one with all the pins?
Oh, yeah.
Where Janeway's got all the
I-
pins?
yeah.
Oh man, that's a freaky one.
That was great.
I like that
freaks
one.
me
Wow.
out. I love
Yeah.
that one,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love Janeway. She's in that little thing when you get your massage, or you
Yeah.
see her face.
Yeah, her face. Isn't this when the doctor's like rubbing on her
Right.
from behind?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. She's just
in
getting
there.
squashed into there. Yes.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. It's just,
Mine
I
was-
mean, it's all feels. That one is just, it's so visceral, you know. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
Fran?
you know, oh, God, that one's so good.
Mine-
Go ahead, Fran.
Mine was Riddles.
Riddles.
Yeah.
It's the one where Tuvok,
Neelix.
Tuvok gets
Oh,
brain
Tuvok.
damage. Tuvok and
Oh,
Neelix, you know, and they form this bond because, you know, Neelix always got on his nerves all the time.
Right.
You know, and he was teaching them, and he was like, "I'd rather stay here with you." You know, and this Vulcan is, you know, forming a friendship with this guy who got on his nerves all the time.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it was like, oh my gosh, look at this. They're bonding, and you know.
Oh.
And then, you know, when they got him back together and he answered the riddle and everything, I'm like, okay, Vulcan. But I love that relationship that they built with them, considering
Yeah.
the way it went, you know, the previous relationship that they had. That was one of mine.
Yeah. Anna Post just in the chat said Roxanne directed that. I think that was Roxanne's first episode she directed on our show.
Wow.
That was a
Was
good one.
Riddles. And I love what you're talking about with the Neelix and Tuvok relationship, because it's funny. Tim Russ and Ethan Phillips off camera were best friends.
Oh,
They would
really?
spend so much time together, did all kinds of things.
Mhm.
They were
they
always going to the movies and going, you know.
No, we come back to work
telescoping
on
and
we come back to work on Monday, and they would they would talk about how they went hang gliding together.
hang gliding and rock climbing. And,
I'm picturing Tuvok as Tuvok and Neelix as Neelix.
Neelix.
That's Neelix.
Janeway would have killed him too.
Neelix. No, it's not gonna work.
but I think that a lot of that came out in that episode, that real life friendship that they had been, you know, playing, that they hated each other as characters, but they had so much fun with that because they really loved each other so much.
Yeah.
And then to get a chance for those characters to kind of express that real life friendship was great.
That.
So
yeah.
yeah, I get that.
Our aliens bonded off camera is what happened.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. Elon.
All right, Sabrina,
Okay,
say
my
yours,
one
and then
and
we're going to get
only.
back on track. Okay.
Yeah, we got to get back to this thing.
Go ahead,
Go
Sabrina.
with my only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It somebody else mentioned in the they were going through the divorce space, and you
We
were
couldn't
getting
hear you,
you
baby.
were
You
hiding the
clipped out.
text.
You clipped
What
out.
was
Say
it?
it again.
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Yeah, it was counterpoint.
Oh, counterpoint.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Counterpoint.
With the
I
classical
just thought
music and everything.
Janeway- Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I love
Janeway
that.
was sciencing the science and pulling the, you know, she was now. I felt for the man. I thought like, oh, okay, here we go. Janeway didn't buy this shit for a minute.
Or didn't. That is a really good one. Wow.
That
I
is a
forgot
good
about
one.
that one.
Mhm.
Janeway was like a Black Widow weaving the web. And
Oh,
that,
man.
that dude
She
was like,
just
I'm
played him.
playing you, Janeway. But Janeway was like, no, I'm really playing you.
Yeah, it was good.
He said something about, well, do you like me better in my plain clothes? He said, I'm not sure I like you at all.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, she was good in that one.
Yeah, that was a good
Oh
one.
my God,
I
I
gotta
love
watch
that
that
one.
one. That was really a good one. Forgot about that one.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah.
my
Gotcha.
honorable mention.
Gotcha.
One of my own. Yeah, I love that episode.
Oh, David Gregory. Yeah, we just recently heard that is one of Kate Mulgrew's favorite episodes too. So I was
She
really
likes it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
jazzed to hear that.
Well,
All
I,
right,
I
then.
I want to
Okay.
thank you guys so much for dropping by. You know, like, I mean, you're more than welcome to hang out with us, but we got to get to business. And like,
Yeah, you do.
we got
I know
a
you
whole, we only on number
I'm
10.
on one
It's
I hear
10,
you.
12.
I got to get to dinner right now is what
There
I'm
you
going to
go.
do. Yeah,
I gotta go work on my limericks. Clearly, they need a little work after that one. But
Robbie will work on
You
take
know,
two
I'm
of
gonna use
Sci-Fi
that.
Sisters
I'm using
Limited.
that on
Thank
the
you.
clips for tomorrow.
Are you really? Oh, no.
Oh, I knew it. As soon as he did it, I was like,
the
oh,
minute he
she's
was
using
doing it,
this.
I'm looking at the timer. I'm like, where is it? Okay, perfect.
She's
All
like,
right.
that's the sizzle. That's the sizzle
That's the
teaser.
sizzle teaser
promo.
right
Yes,
there.
it's all good. It's all good. Okay. Well, thank you.
yeah, thank you,
We've had
thank
fun.
you, ladies, so much.
Oh my
Thank
We
you.
God.
love we love what you do. Thanks
So
for having
great
us
to
be a
see
part of it.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you so
both.
much. We
You know,
appreciate you coming. All right, people, say goodbye to the peoples.
Bye.
Have a great time. Bye, Robbie.
Bye.
Oh, before we go, Robbie's gone, but before
Yeah.
we want to make sure people know that Robbie is going to be our guest on our next podcast, which comes out on Friday. Because who knows when we're going to finish this? So I wanted to
That's
get that
right.
out there.
Go ahead and get it out there right now. Because
We're
we don't know
looking
how
at
many,
tomorrow now.
Okay, let's
how
go.
many people are going to be hanging in there with us by the time we get done with this. Okay, so thanks. That was awesome. They're really cool. They're
Oh,
really
yeah,
cool.
definitely.
All right, so moving right along to number
Yes.
9. Those of you who are
I will
familiar
make
with this
sure I have
process
the right
out
one
there,
up.
I know.
Sorry.
If you put your guesses of what you think number 9 might be in the chat, and I'll give you a Jeopardy second to do that.
Remember, these are the ones that got 2 votes.
At least.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 votes.
Oh, 2 votes.
Okay,
Okay, that's it.
done. All right, number 9 is Deadlock, season 2, episode
Love it.
21. While trying to avoid Vidian territory, Voyager is nearly destroyed by proton bursts coming from an unknown source. Written by our buddy Brandon Braga, directed by our other buddy David Livingston.
The
All right.
legend.
Dun, dun, dun. So, All right. So I forget who Fran and Yvette. You guys
Yvette.
had this on your on
Fran
your
and Yvette.
list.
Yeah, I
I
think
had
so.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, why this one to you guys?
Go ahead, Fran.
I just like the yin and yang kind of thing, and the mystery of, is that really Kim? Is that really is that is that really him, or is that a duplicate, or the mystery of it, which was that hasn't really been answered. But I just like the way and had Janeway went back and forth with herself, and the way it fooled me, because the ship that survived, I thought would be the ship that was going to be destroyed.
Yes.
They got us.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's a twist.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. I like
Mhm.
that part. So,
Same. Exactly the same. The reason why, all the reasons Fran gave is the reason why I always love that one. I'll always watch that one. I just
Mhm.
love that. I did not see that coming.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and I love that. That's another reason why I love Scientific Method. I just never got it. It took me at least 3 watches to figure out what the heck was going on. So I love those. you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, that it's a great episode for the same reasons. Yeah.
I didn't remember it at first, but I went back and watched it, and I see exactly why you guys had it in there. You know, when 8 deaths. Okay.
I would have changed it after I read your guys' list, but I could not remove the shoot, so I kept mine.
Exactly.
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So moving on to number 8.
Number 8.
Dun, dun, dun. Put your guesses in the chat, and we are going to go ahead, or just think them, because we're going to go ahead and say, you ready, Yvette? Let me know when you're ready.
Yes.
Okay. Number 8 is Endgame. Voyager's finale. Endgame parts 1 and 2. Years after Voyager's return to the Alpha Quadrant, Admiral Catherine Janeway resolves to alter the past in order to help her crew get home sooner. This was the series finale, as we all know, the teleplay by Kenneth Biller and Robert Doherty, story by Rick Berman and Kenneth Biller and Brennan Braga, directed by Alan Croker. Whew, yeah, this was a finale and a half, right, y'all?
Yeah,
Right,
it was.
right.
Yeah, it was.
Worthy of 7 years.
Yes, it was a good finale. I've watched it. That's the one finale I haven't watched over and over again. Because even though I think it's a good finale, I think it just kind of leaves you. I wanted something else.
I hate the last 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I really wanted something else, but it's a good story. I mean, it's juicy.
Oh.
It is juicy. There's a lot. There's so much going on there. 23 years later, 10th anniversary, Captain Kim, finally. And then
in a different timeline.
But the thing I always, it's really quick. The thing I always look at this is that all the women look fabulous. Like 10, they look great. All the men look like hell. If their makeup is terrible, Chakotay is dead, Tuvok is in a mental institution. I'm like, damn, it's only 10 years later. What is happening? But all the women look fabulous. Janeway looks great. Her
Made
hair
it back to the Alpha Quadrant and look fine.
But it's just,
Let me just internalize that trauma and keep on stepping.
right. That's exactly what happened.
The men went to pieces.
Right? They sure did. I was like, wow. The only one that looks good is the doctor, and I mean, he ain't right. Only the doctor, right? He's the only one that looks good.
Photons live forever.
Right.
Photons don't crack, baby.
Right.
Photons don't crack.
Oh my God.
I love this one because even after watching it so many times, I still don't know what's going to happen. Like I get like that
I
on
know,
certain
right?
ones. It's so complicated. Janeway is so many steps ahead of the Borg Queen. And Tamir and I just did another podcast. We were talking specifically about Janeway and the Borg. And Janeway just had their number. And she's like playing with this queen at this point. You know, she's just playing her, and I love it. But it was almost like, wait, what is she? She is so many steps ahead. Yeah, and that was Janeway that I love the most.
That is the Janeway I love, and when I think of Janeway, I always this is what comes to mind. I even have a Jenny Johnson. She's a painter. She did this painting of Janeway and the Borg Queen together, looking at each other, and it's all in green. I have it upstairs in my ready room. My den. Sorry, den. Ready room.
That's what I call it. Yes, that's the real room. That's the real name of it. It's the ready room, y'all.
That is really the name of it. So that's what I think of when I think about this episode, and when I think about Janeway. You know, I always think about her with that white hair, you know, as an admiral, because I love Admiral Janeway. You know, I love
Admiral Janeway too.
I love Admiral Janeway. You know, she is the one I love more than Captain Janeway. Yeah, I love Admiral Janeway.
Interesting. I love that. Okay. Well, all right. Well, time to reveal number 7. I'm trying to make up a little bit of lost time.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Number these puppies to bed over here in the chat.
That's right. Number 7, folks, is Timeless. Season 5,
episode 6. I love that one.
Yes. A failed attempt to return home results in Voyager crash landing on an ice world, and also in the deaths of the crew, except Chakotay and Harry Kim. Now, 15 years later, the two men, having resigned from Starfleet, attempt to alter history to save the ship from disaster before Starfleet can stop them. Teleplay by Brannon Braga and Joe Menosky. Story by Rick Berman and Brannon Braga and Joe Menosky. And directed by our man, LeVar Burton, who also makes a cameo. Boop, boop, boop. Timeless also had 3 votes. Timeless had 3 votes as well.
That picture you picked there, Yvette, that said it all. That standing on the ice and seeing Voyager in the ice was like, what the heck is going on?
That opening was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There's so many good comments out there, you guys. Like, everybody's comments in the chat is like right on. I love it.
This right here. Timeless as Voyager City on the edge of forever. That is a good one.
That's a good one.
That's interesting.
Jody, hey girl.
Hey Jody. Yeah, the age makeup, Stephanie. I loved the age makeup was actually good on this episode. Like usually, like they were terrible at the
They lost that age person once they did the finale, because I was like, "Where's the age person from Timeless?"
Right?
Wow.
But Harry was looking good too, with the gray streaks and his hair back like that. I was like, "Ooh, Harry, okay now."
He was looking beautiful.
He was beautiful, like people beautiful.
He was going back to his people days,
people beautiful
magazine days.
I mean, it was great. I love the way this episode was constructed, and you know, I love all the close-in shots that they had to, you know, give you that sense of urgency, and you know, I mean, I just love that this episode was great. It was a good one.
Making decisions to give up everything again for Voyager. You know, even at this point, Chakotay was like, you know, are you really going to do this? I mean, he's like, there's nothing else I can do. Harry was he was as bad as Janeway getting them back to the Alpha Quadrant, that he was going to get this ship out of the ice. Because, like, imagine, it was like the TNG one, the Pegasus, where you remember, like, your friends' bodies are all still there. They didn't just die. They got left behind on this ice planet. Harry was like, even if I just bring the ship back to bury them, that's all I need to do. You know, it was so painful watching his grief.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful.
I forgot about that one too. When it came up, I was like, dang, that's a good one.
Yeah, I know, right? That was the fun thing about going through the list. I'm looking at everybody's list and I was like, oh, I forgot about that one. And then I was like, let me watch it. And just in case I might want to change my vote, you know, I did change some of my votes.
I changed mine because of Fran. You got us to change our vote on this. We were like, oh, we got time.
Yeah, we did. Yep. Okay. All right. Number 6. Dun, 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 dun. Number 6, folks, One Small Step, which we were just talking about with Phil Morris. Season 6, episode 9, Voyager finds an ancient spacecraft, the derelict of one of humanity's first manned missions to Mars. Teleplay by Mike Walliger and Jessica Scott and Brian Fuller and Michael Taylor. Wow, there's a lot of people doing that teleplay. Story by Mike Walliger and Jessica Scott and directed by Robert Picardo.
Yep.
Okay.
This is my favorite Voyager episode. This is my
you had
one.
this at number 1,
This
right?
is my number 1. This is my Voyager episode. I will watch this every day, all day. I just love Phil Morris in this.
Yes.
I'm like Chakotay. Lieutenant now I can't think of the man's name. John Kelly. Lieutenant John Kelly, who Phil Morris plays, is my hero. Just like Chakotay always goes in, like he always just falls over. He just does so much, But this is it's just so good. It just speaks to me. It's like every hero that I love is this guy, because I'm a big space person. Like when I was growing up, NASA and space and Space Odyssey was my jam. And then when I saw this, it was just everything that I grew up with loving. And if I saw this Black man as this astronaut, and he becomes this hero because he's lost, and 400 years later, this white kid, Starfleet brat, and then Chakotay, the first officer, they're like, he's my hero. That did everything to me, and it still does, as you can tell. I still get like, and then they made the man a Yankee fan. What? So it was just, it's still, and when Seven at the end, touches his coffin and tells him who won the World Series, it just,
breaks my heart. I know, broke me down.
Great
Even
writing.
this Red Sox fan had a moment and said, okay.
Yeah. Yankees in 6. That's right.
And I had to put him in, Simpson goes SyFy, 6 Degrees. We got it down to Phil Morris because how could I not do one with Phil Morris as the connection? Yes.
Yeah.
I love him too. I mean, I just love him in everything. And this episode was everything. I'm one of those kids who grew up with NASA. This made the connection to Voyager for us. It's like, how did we get from where we are now to past Enterprise into Voyager, and these people are still honoring these men that went up when it was crazy ass. Like he was sitting on top of like 30,000 pounds of jet fuel and shit. You were like, you didn't even know if you were gonna make it home. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna go out, do a little roll around the and then come back because we got warp drive. No, you're like, woof.
Every time you went up, you didn't know what was going to happen.
Not that they don't know either, but but it was just a whole different type of hero.
Yeah.
And the pictures, he had the picture of the film. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Everything, all the touches,
Genie.
all the touches.
I love that.
I think I was rewatching it again, and I was like, I think this might be the first cosplay I might ever want to do. Like, I'm not a cosplayer, but I was like, we should cosplay him.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
Like he should be cosplayed.
Jamal, me too.
Yeah. Oh, yay.
Definitely.
Yay.
Yeah. It's a good one.
All
right. Okay. Number 5, revealing number 5. Put your guesses in the chat.
These are three for 4. These.
Yeah. Number 5. Yep. Number 5 is a 3-fer. All right. Number 5 is Blink of an Eye. Season 6, episode 12. I know, I love this episode. Over time and generations, a world tries to uncover the mystery of a strange object in the sky. Teleplay by Scott Miller and Joe Menosky. Story by Michael Taylor and directed by Gabrielle Beaumont. All right, Fran, you said this is your number 1, right?
This is my favorite Voyager episode. It is. Because I think it reminds me of how Earth has evolved or not. because something is up in the sky and they're worshiping it and all that stuff. But the way that the story actually evolved was so nice. It's like, what was it? 1 second was like a day or something. Anyway, I can't do the analogy, but it's like Earth for me. I think the way Earth has evolved, and then you had because I love what's his name?
Daniel
Day Kim. Lord have mercy.
I love him.
I just go for Daniel Day Kim, honestly.
All day long. All day long.
I love him.
I've been watching that stupid Hawaii 5-0 just for that reason.
Just for him.
Just for him.
He still look good.
He looked good as shit.
He looked good. And the way he played the character and everything. And then at the end, it was so poignant when he was sitting there. He was like a really old man, because he went back, and then he's looking up at the sky, and then the sky ship leaves. But he's sitting there looking like he's 180. But it was just so touching to me.
Sorry, that was funny though.
Sorry, Fran. Daniel Day Kim. Yeah, he's Daniel Day Kim.
He did look like he was 180. He did.
No, Pearl put in the chat Daniel Bay Kim. It was funny.
Oh, okay. Daniel Bay. Okay. He is a Bay. He's a Bay now. Come on.
Yeah.
That's why he's my favorite boy. Yeah. Whenever it's on, because Pluto, the station that plays all the Star Trek for free and everything. If that episode comes on, I stop and watch it.
Yeah, for sure. I love this episode too. For a lot of the same reasons that you love it, Fran. Like, I love the way it tells about the evolution of human thought. And I just think that it's beautiful. Like, and the constant quest to know more and to understand more, and the people, people understanding through the information and knowledge that people have at the time. And it makes perfect sense why, so I mean, I adore this episode too.
I'm a big fan of mythology. I love Greek myths, Roman myths, and to see a myth created for a people out of something that they see, it makes you think of what happened that people thought about these Greek gods, or even the Bible, or whatever somebody saw and then deified it. It is just fascinating to watch that progression and then realize, well, wait a minute, this could be a real thing. And then like their minds explode that this isn't what they thought it was for thousands of years. It's like, that is like a shakeup. And like that last scene when it does disappear. I mean, I cry for those people.
Yeah.
They have, just worship this sky ship,
The sky ship, yeah.
The sky ship. Yeah. And then they had their own Star Trek show, the Sky People show that become part of the culture, and the kids had people action figures and stuff. Yeah.
And the doctor goes down and have a child. How in the world did that happen? But they never did explain that.
Well,
no, they never did. Like, oh my God. Okay. All right.
Way too much control over his character.
Right.
You don't need to go there. Would be
moving right along, because I'm gonna keep thinking about Daniel Day Kim. Daniel, as he is named Daniel Bay Kim. Thank you very much, Pearl.
Yeah.
He shall forever be known as Daniel Bay Kim now.
Forever.
Forever. Thanks, Pearl. All right, so number four.
What are you been waiting for, folks?
In our number 4 slot is the one that a lot of people seem to put number 1, but for us, it came out as a group in number 4. Year of Hell, parts 1 and 2, before and after. Although the hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's the right thing, right?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. So
okay. Although the alternate future depicted in this episode is finally determined to be only one
That's
possible
for
future.
so if you, I'm sorry, I guess you didn't read it. So I put that on it. So this is really a 3 arc instead of a 2 arc. So the first episode actually of Year of Hell is before and after. And if you remember, that's from season 3. So right, because they actually talk about the Krenim and the Year of Hell, and that's what it, and the Year of Hell came out of that. Like they talked about it was the Year of Hell. So Brandon Braga was like, "Oh, I love the way that sounds. Let's do a 2-parter." Well, he really wanted to do the whole year, but Rick Berman said, "Nah, we're not serializing this. I already got issues over there at Deep Space Nine." So that's why I had that part. But if you go down to part 2, that'll be it.
Okay. All right. So part 2 then, obsessed with restoring the Krenim Imperium, no matter the cost. A Krenim military temporal scientist creates changes in history that all but destroy Voyager. This is written by Brandon Braga and Joe Menosky, the writing duo extraordinaire. Directed by Alan Croker. Part 3, with Voyager almost destroyed, Captain Janeway risks everything to rescue Paris and Chakotay and stop Anorax from continuing to tamper with the timeline. Written again by Brandon Braga and Joe Menosky, and this one was directed by Mike Vehar.
Yeah, they should have done a whole season of it. They really
could have.
And
yeah. Love when it starts day
they
one.
really could. They really could. I know. All I have to say for Year of Hell is Kurtwood Smith.
Oh,
Anorax. Oh, I love Kurtwood Smith. Like
he's the whole reason for the show. I mean,
he makes it so compelling.
Man,
he gives so much depth to this crazed person. It makes him seem really not that crazed, you know.
you get his neurotic stuff. I mean, you get
right. You know, like
right.
So I love this episode. I like how the story, like you said, Sabrina, the story is told in these segmented, compartmentalized ways that makes it really digestible, but also very immediate, and it sort of pushes that sense of urgency, you know, on you. It's just constructed really well.
It really is.
I love the first time Janeway comes up on them, and she's like, "Well, you know, these guys, unless you got something a little bit stronger in those tubes, we're all gonna go." And then it was like a whole different story in about two more minutes. Wow, stuff just changed. It was an excellent. And you know, Joe Menosky, let's just give a shout out for him, because his name is being a bunch of times on this list. And you know, one of the guys that did our other favorite show in TNG, which gave us the oh my god, I'm blanking, the one where we had the they kidnap Picard and the 2 captains are fighting, and we
Gambit.
Gambit.
Command,
the alien captain. Paul Winfield plays the alien captain, and they go to the planet, and they can't figure out what it is.
Darmok.
Oh, Darmok.
Darmok also. I mean, his mind is just out there with these twists and what ifs, you know. Yeah. All right, Joe.
Joe,
I
love him.
I mean, but anybody else have?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
You losing me? Oh, I'm good. That was to me. Yeah. So I just, I mean, it's Year of Hell.
No,
I mean,
it was me. It was me.
Okay. Should I keep going?
Go.
Okay. So I think Year of Hell is, everyone loves it because it's so, you know, it's like though it's. Damn, I forgot what it was. It's that Voyager episode that everybody knows. You know, when you think of Voyager, that is the title. One. Right, that title is the one that'll come up. No matter, you know, if you're a fair weather Voyager fan or a deep dive Voyager fan, this is always the one that comes up, and it just delivers. you know, like, you know, I mean, day 32, and you know, just the numbers, you know, and it's just, it's really good, and everybody has a plot point in this episode.
Yeah.
Like everybody's important. Every single character is important
Yeah.
in this episode, and I love that part too, because that's a big cast, you know. And every one of them is really important.
Had to step up at some time. We had to rely on this person.
Yep.
You are the crewman that I need to do some shit today.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And the only problem I have with it is Tuvok not turning away from the blast. I just don't understand that. Why did he turn this? I mean, why did he? I don't understand that one, but I guess
he's got the
part of
double
story.
eyelids. He's got the
didn't
stuff.
I mean, no, it's the
Steve
one.
Spock.
The one thing that like almost like takes you out of the story just a little bit because it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
You
What
know,
did we say the other day on Jodie Pickens' show? They always give the stupid shit to the black man playing the alien. He's always going to say something stupid or do something stupid. I
Yep.
need
So
to
true.
speak to people about this.
It's true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
true. It's definitely true. Yeah. And
like,
Chakotay's
here's
caught
an
up again.
eclipse, I guess I'll stare at it.
Right.
You know he's smarter
You know
than that.
Tupac wouldn't do some shit.
You know he's smarter than that. Come on.
Right. That's why it doesn't, you know, I'm like going, Tuvok wouldn't do that, you know, and
He would be telling you not to do it.
right. And for why is Seven in there? He's the security. Shouldn't he been in there? You know, I don't. There's a lot of stuff, but
there's a lot.
But it's still a damn good episode.
It's a damn good episode, but because you watched it so many times, you're gonna pick, you know, at it. So yeah.
And I think the main thing about it that really just puts it on another whole writing level is that after all this man puts them through this year of hell, you feel for him at the end of it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh God, you know, to make me feel anything for this critter at the end of this is amazing.
So when I watched it, I think I watched it yesterday. So I watched it and I see him at the end and he's got, you know, his happy life. And I was like, another old bald guy with a redhead? What is happening here? Jeez.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Oh,
just never fails, man. Oh my goodness.
But I think I think to Sabrina's point, that's what elevates this episode above it, is because there was some phenomenal writing and then some absolute, I mean, it was the whole package. The directing was phenomenal, you know, like the lighting was beautiful, like everything, the minimalism in any type of music or sound effects, that, you know, that was great, you know. But it was the writing and the delivery of Kurtwood Smith that really elevated this episode, because it gave Anorax so much nuance. He was so real, you know. Thank you, Sniper X. He was so damn, you know, you had to feel for him. He wasn't just a pastiche villain,
right?
You know, he wasn't, you know, it was grief, and it was driving him into this pathology.
You know,
right
you could
now,
think about it.
Yeah,
right.
If you think somebody close to you died, you could do this to try to get them back. A lot of people would do it.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, sure would.
Sure would.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's Year of Hell.
We could do a whole episode on that.
I know we really could.
Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about with it. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, these top shows that we picked, we could do whole episodes on, and some of them we have talked about at length, namely this one that's number 3 that's coming up, which is Lineage, season 7, episode 12. Torres discovers that she is pregnant and faces a private fear that she has had to deal with since her childhood. Written by James Caan, directed by Peter Lawrenson. And we have talked a lot about this episode in previous on the podcast, because this episode, it's just like, I think that it was speaking to people of color or colonized people whose people have been colonized in any way, in a very different way than it would speaking to other audiences. That's my suspicion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Karen.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Karen. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, this yeah. B'Elanna was working through self-hatred that was implanted in her as a child, where she learned to think that there was something wrong with her for being who she was, for looking the way she was, for feeling the way she did, for experiencing the world the way she did, by her father. It's like the ultimate betrayal, and that's just such a powerful thing. Like, I think, what we talked about on our show was these ways in which we all, those of us who grew up as Black people in this country and other people of color, or other people from colonized worlds, grow up internalizing how we internalize that what we are is wrong. How we talk about like how our hair grows out of our head is wrong. Like, there's something wrong with our thick lips and our thick noses, or our big butts, or our thick, our thick thighs. Everything about us is wrong. But yet the people who are telling us that everything is wrong with us are keep trying to imitate every damn thing we do and how we are, anyway, that I don't want to go in a loop. I'm about to spiral on it, so I'm gonna shut myself up. Somebody else talk about it.
It was good. It was good. I mean, I think we all have the same sentiment. This episode is. I'm sorry. This episode is deep, and I think, like you said, I think it's a lot deeper for people like us than it is for, because people were saying it's a deep cut. I was like, a deep cut. This is the one. I mean, you can't have a top 10 without this one.
We can't. I mean, we can't have a top 10 without this.
Well, that means you can't. I mean, because I feel we're mainstream. I don't consider myself a niche. This is.
I'm just saying we wouldn't have.
I know. I know what you
that's
mean.
all.
But I think this one, because B'Elanna is she's that character that they gave this to. This is what she's been dealing with the whole time. And then to put this out, it just, it gives the Klingon. And I think that's why I always feel a kinship to the Klingons also, because of this episode, it just makes me feel like, the Klingons are, I won't say they're Black, but they
pretty much,
we get it. We get it. We get them,
I see it.
Yeah, and
there's some similarities.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. I know they weren't made, they weren't made off of us. I think they were made off of Japanese or something like that. But
I don't know, the first ones we saw were wearing blackface. So
I was getting ready to say the blackface.
And it was.
Let's be clear.
Yep.
So it's just this one. When I think of Voyager, I think of this one, and when I think of Roxanne Dawson's character, this is where she shines.
Yes.
When she plays a Klingon. When I love her as the engineer, but when she plays a Klingon is when she shines. I think she gets it more than Worf did. Even she's half and half, half human, half, and he's not, but he's still playing that role. He lives in two different societies, but she
Go ahead. I'm sorry, but when you're finished, I need to address this comment in the chat.
Go ahead, do it now.
Okay. Well, so no, her father didn't end up rejecting her mother for hardcore Klingon beliefs, like necessarily, and she was she heard her father say horrible things about her to somebody else and about her mother. Like, it was very direct. There was nothing that it was directed to her and about her and her mother. It was very direct, and it was very explicit. Right. On the camping trip, she overheard her father saying these horrible things about his own child to somebody else. So there was nothing indirect about it. And it wasn't about the hardcore beliefs. It was about her being, quote unquote, too passionate and hard and unruly. And this is all stuff that is a trigger for those of us that grew up Black in this country, because
angry Black woman,
Black woman, you don't have to be so passionate. Or to me, tell us how you really feel about it. Okay, bitch, when I slap you across the face, you'll know how I really feel about it.
You didn't really mean it. Look, we're all reacting. We're all like,
Oh, buddy.
Misogynoir.
That's how you know I'm really gonna
Don't get
feel
me
about it.
started. You can
You
link
know.
me angry black woman you want to, kiss my ass. I don't care.
So
It was.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just needed to,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't even
to
need to
say
say
that.
anything else. That's it.
mhm,
He proved my point.
mhm.
You know, like, that's why it's so powerful.
That's not
to
what
us.
really happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Definitely rewatch it. I just watched it
Yeah.
today. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Let's
you need
move
to
on.
you need to actually rewatch it after you've heard what we just said,
Yeah.
and maybe you'll see it. You know,
Right. Yeah, I mean, maybe you'll see it a little bit differently. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, it's like everybody sees stuff differently. So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But also on my show, you know, I'm gonna tell you my
That's
truth.
the POV.
I'm gonna tell you my truth. This is my POV.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
We talked
That's
about this show with Robbie on the podcast.
Sure
and
Yeah, we
did.
sure
he
did.
had-
Yeah, make
Mhm.
sure you listen to that too.
Yeah,
Yep.
he had his
Mhm.
thoughts about what was going on.
Mhm.
Very
we talk-
enlightened.
It was years ago that we did the show about
Yeah.
this. It was
Yeah.
a few
And we
years
did the show, but
ago.
when
We
we
had-
talked
Did we have
Robbie
was
about
that the
it.
one with Dr. Luce?
Dr. Luce.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talking about Balana. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a
Yeah.
good show. I love that
It's a really
episode.
good show. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yeah.
move on.
Okay, we got to move on.
Mhm.
Okay, number
Yeah.
2. All right,
Mhm.
some
I love
people gonna be in their feels about this one too, because
Ooh,
they always
child.
are.
I know.
They always are.
Here we
Number
go.
2. All right, y'all see my name under there. Tuvix. Season 2, episode 24. After I'm only doing this for shits and giggles because we all know this, but after a transporter malfunction, Tuvok and Neelix are merged into a single being. In the search for a way to restore them to their original forms, a moral dilemma is faced as the new being does not want to be terminated. Teleplay by Kenneth Biller, story by Andrew Shepard Price and Mark Gaberman, directed by Cliff Bowl.
I thought you said Nubian.
Oh, I was wondering why you were laughing so hard. I was like, what is so funny in this recap?
And then I was like, wait, what?
I mean, that works on one level, but
It does. Oh my gosh.
I was like, why is she over there cracking up? I was like, damn, what am I missing in the chat? Did I miss
I
something?
was like,
funny
did she
while I
say
was
Nubian? I was like, okay, what? Jamal was like, wait, what?
Where's Mark?
What?
Where's Mark? Janeway did nothing wrong.
That's it. It's under
I
my
know, where
name
is
in
Mark?
my episode. I said Janeway was right. That's what I wrote tonight.
Yeah.
Tom Wright, he was.
Tom Wright.
And you said
The
and
Nubian.
if you turn the name around, she would have killed him too.
That's right.
She sure would have.
Let's give a shout out to
Both
Tom
of them would
Wright.
have been
Yeah.
all
let's
four of them would have been
Yeah.
give a big let's give a
Mhm.
huge shout out to Tom. Right, go ahead, Sabrina.
At that, he is one of my favorite actors. Please, if you want to check him out, in The Brother from Another Planet, he is in that too. He's in so many things that we have seen, and he gives such a performance here that you do have your heart break for him.
Yes.
Like in one episode, he made you feel this. So,
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fabian, it's hard to watch for me too,
Yeah.
because it's a hard episode because damn, I mean, even though we know she did, well, we know, right? I'm assuming Tuvix is the divisive issue, right?
Yeah.
Some of us believe that Janeway did the right thing, and yeah, I will always stand by that, but there are other people who say like, no, this would be, and it's so hard because Tom Wright. Now, if they could played him like as a despicable asshole, everybody would have been like, yeah, kill his ass. That would have been really easy.
Yeah.
Kill
Yeah.
him,
But I think this is another Voyager episode that is just classic, and it's so good, and it has to be a good episode. We have it at number 2 for that reason. People they say, oh, Tuvix, there's a lot of jokes, but it is a great episode. If we why are we still talking about it? Why are we still debating
How
about
many
it?
years later?
Right. I
and
mean,
getting hot about it, not
and
just
getting
talking
hot
about it,
I
get
mean,
hot about
moral
it.
debates about what? How do you talk? How do you, people are just they get livid. They really get into it. You lose friendships over this episode. So not that, and I think people need to look past all the debates and actually look at what's actually happening on this episode. These people are lost in the Delta Quadrant. And if I think like Lower Deck said, if they were in the Alpha Quadrant, this happened, you could fix this,
Right.
something could be done.
Whatever.
Right. But not in the Delta Quadrant, what are you going to do?
It's the true frontier medicine that Julian Bashir was looking for.
Bashir got on the wrong ship.
Put his ass out in the Delta Quadrant.
Right. Here's some frontier medicine for you, brother.
Yeah, Marina was right. Thank you, Marina. Sorry.
Love this episode. It's just a classic story, and the storytelling in this is. I just love it. It's just a great episode.
And then the two people that they put together, that they merged together.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So Marina said that Tom Wright says that Janeway was right.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And then Dave Gregory just made me laugh my ass off. He said the real crime was in the makeup room when they show the back of Tuvix's head.
They did it wrong. They did. Yeah.
Now I got to look at the back of Tuvix's damn.
I agree, Dave. I agree.
And I thought it was great that they got a complete different actor to play Tuvix and didn't get either Ethan or Tim to play, because and you say, okay, it is a different being. It's a different person.
That was the brilliant part of the whole episode, is that it was a totally different person. Because you saw it, because then you got to see him as a totally different person. Not this, mesh of these two people that we knew. But you got to see a totally different, and I think that's what made the episode so gritty and like, oh my God, this is a person. We see him as a person.
But you saw him as, for me in this one, you saw him as versions of those people that you did love, but they were more lovable as they were. Tuvok had his hard side, Neelix had his ridiculous side, and both of those irritating sides were kind of gone. And you were like, well, if he would just be like this all day, I'd be all right with it. But
yeah.
And it was hard to, he was making every single person in that crew. Everybody had an interaction with him that they could never have with any of the other two characters.
Right.
And it was just made everybody just like, I don't know what to do. And I love Janeway in an ethical, moral dilemma when she has to make the calls. She's got to be the captain.
Yeah, she's always the captain.
After she came, but after she came out of that room and she walked in that hallway.
Yeah.
It was like you saw on her face without saying a word how difficult that was for her. It wasn't like just a fly-by-night thing. It was so difficult for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think she was ever confused about what she had to do. It was just the doing of it was so hard. I never thought she thought for a second that I should leave him like that.
No.
She was like, no, this is not even happening. But it just was like, it's going to be horrible. It's going to hurt. And I don't want to do it, but this has to be done.
It has to be done.
But Jamal said the breakdown in procedure still bugs me straight to the stasis chamber until we can fix it. But how are they in the Delta Quadrant? How long they said you mean keep Tuvix in the stasis chamber?
Well,
you need Tuvok on the bridge.
Right.
Nobody's cooking, nobody's guarding the ship. What are we gonna do? They can't we need 2 ships covered if we put them in the stasis chamber.
And Tuvix was, he wanted to live. He wanted to be out there.
Couldn't afford to. I think
those
right, and I think right, exactly. He would not go willingly into that chamber either. No. But I mean, I think Janeway had to prioritize and do some triage. She had a crew. She had to keep that crew intact as it. Tuvix, see what you did again. Tuvix,
tired of shit all over again.
Right? She knew what she had to do, and Tuvix was not part of the plan.
Yeah.
He was not helping them to get to the Alpha Quadrant.
And he was a mistake. So, you know, it was an error.
Yeah.
Transporter, you know, that transporter shit is something else.
Oh, transport.
That
You never have to.
wasn't
You
wrong.
never have.
Okay,
I will
Jamal,
never
thank
get
you
into
for the
a
clarification.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that little ugly ass dog on TOS? Remember?
Yep. Flip the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah,
dog.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, who in the world
Put
put
the
that
captain
shit
in
together?
half.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. The chat is still. Everybody's still.
I'm with Bones.
Kirk
with eyeliner.
He said Kirk with eyeliner. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Kirk
yeah.
was dolled up.
Right. He did.
That was funny.
Oh my God.
Right.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right. So number one came out. This was actually our number one episode. Came as a surprise to me that this was our number one.
Me too.
But it was the highest ranked of all the four of us. And I'm glad because it was my number one episode.
Okay.
And excuse me. And that is Distant Origin, season 3. Episode 23, an alien scientist finds evidence linking his species' ancestry to Earth, but government officials refuse to accept his evidence because it conflicts with existing doctrine. Written by our team again, Brandon Braga and Joe Manosky, directed by our buddy, David Livingston.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my God. Yay.
Trifecta of cast and crew here.
Yeah. I love this episode because I feel like my whole life I've always been really intrigued by the ways in which people want to Dino love.
Always Joel.
I know, right? By the ways in which people try to suppress truth, by the ways that truth intimidates people, you know.
That's his purpose. That is his purpose in this show.
That's who he is.
Yes,
That's who he is. I tell you, he's always obsessed about something.
Yeah.
Ooh, Derek, that's a point.
Yeah. Yep. No Voyager crew at all in the beginning.
Right. Yeah. So I love this episode because it's taking on like those people that try to suppress truth, you know, and it's taking on that conflict between truth and knowledge versus doctrine,
right?
You know,
or for another word, dogma too.
Okay, well, okay. I said doctrine though, you know, because because of growing up, you know, we're seeing, you know, you're learning one thing, you're seeing another thing, right? You're seeing like, I grew up at this time, Yvette and I both grew up in this time when the blinders were coming off about American society and about what it means to be American and these patriotic terms that like my mother's generation just took for granted. But we're American, right? But what does it mean to be American? And Americans would never do such a thing. And then we came up, these children of Vietnam, after Vietnam, right? And after COINTELPRO and after the MOVE bombing in Philadelphia and after, and we see like all of the horrific backlash against people who are trying to speak truth, you know, and we grew up with this dichotomy, you know, like this existing in this paradox of this uncomfortable paradox, you know, of here's what the doctrine is telling me and here's what the reality actually is.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I loved this episode. I do continue to love this episode so much, regardless of whether the fact that it's like, you know, it's also the fact that it's science saying like, look at the science, like we're proving this in front of you, and people going, you know, not really.
Sounds
we're just not going to believe, right? We're just not going to believe that. Like,
yeah,
I have the proof right in front of you. Yeah, we're going to risk everything. We're going to keep the status quo for as long as possible. Fran, go ahead and tell your talk about the document.
no, I heard like what he did. They was trying to say what he did was blasphemy. I actually heard them say that in that episode. Say it was blasphemy because we didn't evolve from this and that or whatever. No. And you can't. But the man, like you said, not the man, the dino has scientific proof of what he's talking about. And they're saying, oh, no. You can't go out there and say that. And you're crazy and all that. And it was like, that's another, I think, Earth, if we ever would find out that there are other aliens somewhere, if there are other beings somewhere else, we wouldn't believe it. We wouldn't, we'd be like, oh, no, we're this ball in the air and we're the only, we're way up here and we're the only beings in the universe and all that. And you can't come and show me that, no, America, no, I mean, the Earth, no. Even though somebody would have proof, scientific proof, because in all the disaster movies and shows, it's the scientists trying to tell people what the deal is, and people are just, no, we're not gonna believe that. So, it's a beautiful analogy, I think, of, but the only thing, like Dr. Muhammad said, y'all remember we were talking about this? He said, well, how in the world did the dinosaurs how did they get that far away from Earth?
Oh, right. Into the Delta Quadrant.
Remember how did they get that? Yeah, to the Delta Quadrant from Earth. He said, that's what you need to worry about. But
Yeah.
You remember we were at one of the cons, and he said that because that episode came up. He's like, that's what you need to worry about. How in the world they get all the way to the Delta Quadrant? How did they manage that?
This is a throwback to Galileo, who was telling everyone that the world was round. They were like, the world is, and they actually took him to trial. The Catholic Church condemned him. Condemnation of him. His works were not told. And every time I see this, I think of that basic truth of the world, although you still got some people that believe the world is flat. But still got some dinos. We still got some dinos. But it was not something that it just always hit me, because you got to read that book about the condemnation of Galileo. It's just amazing. And now we always just like, oh yeah, Galileo figured it out. But man, to what cost to him? Just like this professor. And I want to give a shout out to Conchita Tomei, who played the minister.
Oh, yes, so amazing.
Her voice.
Conchita.
It's her. Yeah.
She looks so regal, so like you ain't getting past this. You got to prove it to me.
She was amazing. Another thing that totally elevates this episode for me is how they all acted through those prosthetics. I mean, they did the thing. They did the thing.
Stephanie. Yep.
All of them.
They had great dialogue.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, to me, this episode, this one makes me, I will watch it every single time it comes on. It makes me think every time, I adore it, What you over there laughing at?
I got a nitpick.
But there's nitpickies. There's things to nitpick. So
why are Voyager's uniforms, comm badges, and tricorders all over the Delta Quadrant? Because that's how they found them. They kept coming upon people like, oh, you mean these people?
But she was left.
I'm like, what?
I think
you're just littering the Delta Quadrant.
That was from season 2 or 1.
Yeah, remember. Okay, go ahead, Sabrina.
That was from season 2. Remember when Seska stole the ship and everything, and they
were in the cave.
Someone went in the cave and she died. That was her.
That was her. Okay.
That's
wow.
right.
Okay.
I believe that to be true. I don't know. Chat, check
Me
me
too.
out.
That's what I get. That's what I get.
Yeah, Kelly says they
Seska
found it
left
on
them on.
that planet that
Thank you,
Seska
Kelly.
left them. Yep.
They found
Yeah.
Hogan on space.
They found Hogan.
Hogan. Yikes.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So
That was
That
crazy.
and that was the thing he needed, the proof he needed for his theory.
mhm.
When he found that body, he was like, "Oh no, okay,
Oh, basics. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
Watch that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
another good one."
That's another good one, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
really
it
good.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seska was
Dang,
my
was
girl.
killed by a worm.
Seska was my
Hey,
girl. I love me some Seska. Boy.
Seska. Oh my
Woo!
God. Seska,
Seska.
her crazy ass.
Seska,
Right.
a bitch with a capital B.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Man,
I
I could have
just-
I
done
love
those.
her.
I could have done another season of Seska.
Yep,
Yeah.
I sure could have.
She's
I was so
like-
sad.
she's
to get rid of her.
She's like peanut hamper, okay? Same.
She really is. She
She's the same.
She probably her descendants probably programmed Peanut Hamper.
Oh my God.
Oh,
There you
Oh
go.
my God. Oh, Seska. Mm.
Peanut hamper
Seska.
Voyager.
Yes, the
Seska,
OG
please.
Peanut Hamper. Exactly,
That's
Anna.
Oh my goodness.
I know my girl could turn on a dime. She was like, "Whatever is going to get me out of the Delta
No
Quadrant is
joke.
where I'm going."
No
No
joke.
joke.
I'm doing it.
Right.
No
And y'all
compunction.
going to
I
be
was
like
so
taking this 75-year trip. I got to go.
she was a great villain. She was a great villain.
Right.
Yeah.
Those
Seska
Ooh.
could have caused them. Seska could have
Yeah.
caused them no end of trouble
Yeah.
Oh,
throughout the whole.
would've been
Seska would have made a pact with the Borg Queen and everything.
Ooh.
Borg
Ooh.
That's
The
by any means,
Herosians, the
by any
Vivians.
means
Ooh.
necessary.
Mhm.
You know?
And of
We needed
course,
Seska in
and of
here.
course,
Hell, we needed some Seska.
Chakotay going overboard again. Goddamn Chakotay, I swear. Woo. Look, kiss Chakotay, slap him 1 minute later.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Chakotay.
That's right. Even program the holodeck against them. Yep.
Sure did. Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
That was
a-
funny at the end. That was
Yeah.
really funny at the end. No guns blew up and shit. That was funny.
Mhm.
Because it was, I didn't expect it to be funny the way that it ended.
That's the
though.
one like Dr. Smith. That's so right, though.
Pain, the pain, the pain.
Brother did to mess with them. She sure did.
I'm glad we've had this moment to have tribute to Seska because
Yeah,
she didn't
man.
get
Mhm.
on
She
any of
deserves
the
it.
episodes, but
She deserves it.
Mhm.
she's a top 10 cast member, if
She
nothing
really
else.
is. Yeah, she is. She made that show, boy, especially in the early days. 'Cause,
Yes.
I wonder if we
man.
can get her. Oh, okay, never mind.
She came up there talking to Chakotay about you're my baby daddy. My boy couldn't say nothing wrong. Couldn't say shit.
Okay, guys. All right. Seska
Maybe.
has had her run here.
Yes.
I want to notice that there are no bride of Chaotica episodes.
No.
What in our top 10. No damn holodeck messes.
No.
Like no. I mean, it was fun doing this top 10 because, like I said before, like it gave me a chance to really focus in and zero in on Voyager like I hadn't in a long time, and I just really enjoyed it. I forgot how much I really enjoyed this show. And I kept hearing Yvette in my head going, there's always something crazy happening on that damn ship.
Always. It's the
true.
crazy ass ship. That ship. It is.
Oh.
So
make sure you check us out on what Clone Podcast with Jody talking more about Voyager.
The Clone Star
Star.
podcast.
We had a
Mhm.
very deep conversation about Voyager on that show. I enjoyed it immensely. Thank you, Jody.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. That was what I meant to say. Guys, I'm wearing down, so I think we need to wrap this up because words are not wording anymore. But for real, thank you everybody for hanging in there with us. This has been a lot of fun.
Everybody's still naming episodes.
I know, right? Oh, the macro virus. Yeah, Janeway does Ripley. I loved that too. I just was watching that earlier today.
That was too scary to me. That was too scary. I didn't.
Oh, I loved that one. Okay.
Love it too.
It was like horror, and I'm not a horror person, so yeah.
Yeah. So,
All right,
guys,
y'all.
all right. Thank you for everybody for watching. If you are new here, even if if you didn't agree with everything, like that's great because the world is boring when everybody agrees. If you're new,
Give us your honorable mentions.
please be sure
In
to
the
like.
comments.
Okay, please be sure to subscribe, like, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment of our feel-good blurty fun. I'm going to put that in all capital letters, blurty fun. Also, if you want to get your brand in front of our loyal, passionate, and oh so very smart audience, please consider sponsoring the live show. Whether you're a small business or an individual, you can be part of this amazingly vibrant community that loves to support the brands that they believe in. Click the link in the show description or head on over to syfysistas.com/sponsors to learn more. Yvette, what's coming up next this week, please?
So tomorrow there will be no Wednesday show tomorrow, but there will be a new podcast episode, and it'll be Robbie, Duncan, McNeill. So it's our first time having him on the show, and of course, you see we have a little great rapport with him. So it's a great show. We had so much fun with him. You get to know a few more things that you might not have known, but that's coming up. And next week, I think it's Soul of the Story, right? Am I right or wrong?
I think so.
Let's see. I think it's Soul of the Story. There's no
we go
live
back
show.
we go back to
Nope,
Tunes.
2 Moons. Sorry. 2 Moons is
Two
next
Moons,
week.
right.
2 Moons is next week. There is no live show scheduled as of now.
Okay.
There may be a live show. There may not be a live show. So we'll see.
Well,
We'll
we
see.
have Trek Long Island coming up, so quite a bit.
That we do.
And we hope we get to see everybody there. And I just love you guys. Thank you so much for sticking around. You got anything else, and Yvette?
Just if we don't see you next week, that means please make sure you come to Trek Long Island, like Tamia said. We have a booth. And we are presenting 1701, a blurred story on Friday night. Please come see that with Matthew Jennings, our nephew. And then we're still supposed to be doing something on Sunday, but we don't know yet, but we'll put it out on social media when everything is finalized. So that's it.
Okay. And so we love you guys. Thanks for sticking around. And we had a lot of fun doing this, and peace, love, and hair grease, friends.